So, welcome to the Kentucky schedule preview. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Fanatic, and I am back with another video. So, sorry I did not upload this video yesterday. I meant to, but today I'm going to attempt to upload 3 schedule previews today. So keep an eye out for those later on in the day. But Kentucky has a very, very interesting schedule. In my opinion, arguably the easiest schedule in all of the SEC. They have an extremely easy schedule, a couple cupcake games. Their SEC West games are extremely easy, arguably the easiest in, as possibly as you can be. And I just think Kentucky has a super easy schedule. So are they able to take advantage of that and maybe go 10-2 or 11-1, or will they disappoint and go 6-6 and 7-5? Let's find out. So Kentucky starts off the year with a cupcake game against Toledo. I've heard some people say that Kentucky should keep their eye out for this game, that Kentucky doesn't have a great track record with cupcake games to start off the year, such as Southern Miss a couple years ago. But I don't think this game's going to be extremely competitive. I think Kentucky has the definite edge, and I think Kentucky's going to get the 35-3 win to kick off the year. I don't think it's going to be as competitive as some people might think. So yet again, another cupcake game for Kentucky, continuing to pile on with the easy games. You're going to see a lot of easy games on Kentucky's schedule. Like I said, I think Kentucky has an extremely easy schedule, and I think Kentucky's going to get another win here. It's going to be pretty basic stuff where they start off SEC play. Kentucky wins 49-7. They take care of Eastern Michigan, and they go in back home, or they are home, but they stay home to face the Florida Gators in one of their biggest and most challenging games of the year. So I went over this in my Florida schedule preview. Go check out that video after you're done listening to this video. But I think Florida picks up the 31-23 win here against Kentucky. I think Florida's going to come in here with a vengeance, wanting to get revenge and start a new streak against Kentucky. I think Kentucky is going to put up a good fight against Florida, but Florida is clearly the better team at this stage, and I think Florida gets the big win here in Kentucky, and it's a devastating loss for Kentucky, their first loss of the season. Let's see how they respond. So Kentucky goes on the road for the first time this season to face Mississippi State. In my opinion, two very, very similar teams. They both have dual-threat quarterbacks that struggle throwing the football, but can run the football very, very efficiently, and they both have great defenses. I think this is going to be a heavy defensive game. I think I'm going to give Kentucky the 7-6 victory over Mississippi State. It's a big victory to start off the year on the road, and Kentucky is now 3-1 on the year. So Kentucky, in their arguably biggest game of the year, faces South Carolina. In my opinion, this is going to be an extremely competitive and entertaining game. Kentucky is on the road. They are at South Carolina, and that's why I think South Carolina might have the slight edge in this game, even though I think Kentucky might be the better overall team right now. But I am going to give South Carolina the field goal win, 27-24, as Kentucky heads 4-2 on the season, 1-2 in SEC play. So Kentucky needs to start turning things around before their season heads to the dumps. So Kentucky, in their last SEC West game of the year, heads back home to face Arkansas. In my opinion, Kentucky's just the way more talented team than Arkansas. They're going to be able to handle Arkansas, even though Arkansas, might have some advantages over Kentucky, like at the quarterback position. But Kentucky's just better at every single position except for quarterback, in my opinion. And I don't think Arkansas is really any good. So I'm going to give Kentucky the 31-10 victory, as they are now 2-2 in SEC play and 5-2 on the year. So their SEC East hopes are still alive, but they're going to have to really ramp it up here to end off the year. Kentucky, in a huge game against the Georgia Bulldogs, heads back on the road. Here is where we figure out if Kentucky is for real, or if they're just a pretender team that's really a basketball school trying to be a football school. I think Georgia is the better team. Kentucky will have a lot of passion and heart and desperation going into this game, and Georgia might not take this game 100% seriously. But I think they will. I think Kirby Smart will get in his team's head that this Kentucky team is for real, and I'm going to give Georgia the 38-20 victory over Kentucky, kind of similar to last season. Kentucky puts up a fight, but Georgia's just the better team. There's better in almost every category: coaching, recruiting, talent, fan base, facilities. Georgia's just better, and that's not Kentucky's fault. You would expect Georgia to be better, considering Kentucky is a football school, but a pretty big loss here against Georgia, as Kentucky is now 3-3 or 2-3. Trying to remember on the year in SEC play. So Kentucky's struggling right now midway through the year. So Kentucky heads back home after a devastating loss to Georgia, and this is a must win right now for Kentucky. They cannot afford to lose another SEC game against another SEC East opponent like Missouri. I am going to give Kentucky the 17-14 win here. I think that they are better in a lot of categories, just a little bit more than Missouri. I think these two teams are also very similar, but I think Kentucky has the better coaching than Mississippi State and Missouri, and even though both those teams are very, very similar to Kentucky, that's why I'm giving Kentucky the win over not only Missouri, but Mississippi State as well. So Kentucky gets a big response win over Missouri here after that devastating loss to Georgia. So Kentucky is once again facing another SEC East opponent in Tennessee, another big rival of theirs. They're facing them at home, and I went over this in my Tennessee schedule preview. I think Tennessee is going to come in here passionate and desperate, but so's Kentucky. Kentucky's also desperate, and I think Kentucky at this point just has more talent than Tennessee, and I'm going to give Kentucky the 27-23 win over Tennessee, as Kentucky continues to kind of try to end off the year on a high note as they beat another big rival in Tennessee. So Kentucky heads back on the road to face a pretty mediocre team in Vanderbilt. Kentucky is better in every category, much like Georgia is better in every category than Kentucky. Kentucky has the better coaches, facilities, fans, stadium, team, just everything there just better than Vanderbilt. I do think Vanderbilt will be able to make this a close game since they are at home, and they will be kind of desperate here trying to make a bowl game. But I'm going to give the win to Kentucky 20-10, no matter how much desperation Vanderbilt has at this point, and it will be a lot, trust me. I do think that Kentucky's just too much better than Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt just can't beat Kentucky. So I'm going to give Kentucky the 20-10 win here, as Kentucky has won 3 in a row now. So Kentucky, before they face their biggest rival of the year, Louisville, has a cupcake game against Tennessee Martin. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Kentucky's not losing, especially to Tennessee Martin. I think Kentucky's going to win 42-3 in a pretty easy victory as they continue to build momentum against Louisville, as they have now won 4 in a row by this point, and they're going into rivalry week with all the momentum that any team could ever ask for. So Kentucky ends off the year, I do believe, at home. Yes, they are at home, to face Louisville. Louisville's in a major rebuilding mode right now. I think Kentucky's just better than Louisville in any possible scenario. I don't get why these two are rivals. I mean, I somewhat get it, but I mean, it's just not. I think Kentucky should face a team like Tennessee or Missouri in their rivalry week instead. I feel like that'd be much more compelling. But Louisville and Kentucky are just two basketball schools that happen to be playing football in rivalry week, and I just don't find it really compelling. But Kentucky wins 31-6 to end off the year with their 5th straight win, as they end off the year with a ton of momentum as they advance to 9-3 after a big win in rivalry week. So Kentucky kind of takes advantage of their super easy schedule, not to their full potential, but I mean, they lost the games that they should have lost against South Carolina, Florida, and Georgia, and they won the games that they should have won against teams like Mississippi State, Louisville, Missouri, Vanderbilt, Tennessee. A pretty basic season for Kentucky, even though I think that Kentucky seasons will be excited. For going 9-3, they're starting to get to the point where they can be good every single season. I think if they get a better quarterback, they could maybe even go like 10-2 one year, but I think 9-3 is kind of a good season for them. You know, that's about their ceiling right now with their kind of mediocre quarterback in Terry Wilson. I am a believer in their coach. I think he's a fabulous coach, and I think he's going to take his team, I think, back-to-back years of 9-3. And, hey, maybe they even make a New Year's Six bowl for the first time in I don't know how long. But Kentucky is 9-3 at the end of the year as they somewhat take advantage of their super, super easy schedule. So that was the Kentucky schedule preview. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you did. Comment down below which team you guys would like me to do next. But have an amazing day. This was Fanatic, and peace.